There exists within your person a knowing so profound, so undeniable, that it has woven itself into the very fabric of their being. They understand, without even the faintest shadow of doubt clouding their awareness, that their destiny is intertwined with yours. This isn't merely a passing thought or a fleeting emotion that dances through their consciousness in moments of loneliness. No, this is a deep, unwavering certainty that has taken root in the most sacred chambers of their heart, a truth that their soul recognizes with absolute clarity. For what may have felt like an eternity to them, they attempted to silence the persistent voice of their intuition. They tried desperately to convince themselves that what stirred within them whenever they thought of you was temporary, something that would eventually fade like morning mist beneath the rising sun. They told themselves stories, built elaborate narratives in their mind, all designed to minimize the profound significance of what they felt. Perhaps they reasoned that this connection could be replaced, that someone else might come along and fill the space you occupy in their heart. But the human heart, when it has truly recognized its mirror, refuses to be fooled by such convenient lies. The time for running has come to an end. They can no longer flee from the truth that echoes through every beat of their heart, through every quiet moment when your name surfaces in their thoughts like a prayer. Something ancient and eternal within them has awakened to the reality of your essence, your unique energy, the extraordinary way your soul seems to reflect aspects of their own that they had forgotten even existed. This recognition goes far beyond the surface level of ordinary attraction, beyond the physical realm where most connections begin and end. What exists between you transcends the material world entirely. It is spiritual in nature, woven from threads of destiny and divine timing. It is emotional in its depth, touching places within them that have remained untouched by anyone else. And it is profoundly transformative, reshaping their understanding of what love truly means and what it requires of those brave enough to embrace it fully. The games have ended. The masks have fallen away. The days of hiding behind uncertainty and comfortable distance are dissolving like shadows before the dawn. They have arrived at a moment of profound realization, a turning point where denial is no longer possible and truth demands to be acknowledged. What they desire most, what their soul cries out for in the quiet hours of the night, is a relationship with you that is built on solid ground. They long for something serious, something meaningful, something that honors the depth of connection you share. They envision a bond constructed not on superficial attractions or convenient circumstances, but on foundational pillars of truth, vulnerability, and emotional connection so deep it sometimes frightens them with its intensity. There is something about you that sets you apart from every other person who has ever crossed their path. They struggle to articulate it in words, this indefinable quality that makes you so utterly irreplaceable in their eyes. Your aura radiates with an authenticity that cannot be manufactured or imitated. Kindness flows from you as naturally as light flows from the sun, not as a performance or a strategy, but as an expression of your truest nature. And there is a strength in you, a quiet resilience that doesn't need to announce itself loudly, that doesn't require validation or recognition to exist. This strength simply is, and it captivates them completely. You move through life with a grace that appears almost effortless, though they understand now that true grace is often born from trials endured and lessons learned. The way you navigate challenges, the way you maintain your center even when storms rage around you, the way you remain true to yourself when the world tries to reshape you into something more convenient, all of this has not gone unnoticed. They watch you, even from a distance, and they are mesmerized by the authenticity of your existence. In their eyes, no one compares to you. Not in physical beauty, though they find you beautiful beyond measure. Not in the radiance of your spirit, which shines with a light that draws them like a moth to flame. not in the quality of your energy, which feels unlike anything they've encountered before. There is something about your presence that registers as home to their weary soul. In a world of chaos and noise, you are the calm they've been searching for. In darkness, you are the light their soul recognizes instinctively, even when they try to convince themselves they're fine walking alone in the shadows. Their thoughts return to you with startling frequency, appearing at unexpected moments throughout their day. You arrive in their consciousness when they're occupied with routine tasks, when they're trying to focus on work, when they're sitting in silence with their own thoughts. They wonder about you constantly. What are you doing in this moment? How are you feeling? Are you happy? Are you thinking of them too, or have you moved on to someone who was brave enough to claim the love they were too afraid to accept when it was offered freely? These past few days have been particularly intense for them. The emotions they've been trying to manage, the feelings they've attempted to keep at a controllable distance, have suddenly intensified into something impossible to ignore. They've felt waves of longing crash over them when they least expect it, powerful enough to take their breath away. Nostalgia washes through them, carrying memories of moments shared with you, conversations that lingered long after the words were spoken, glances that communicated volumes without a single syllable being uttered. And woven through it all is an affection so pure and profound that it refuses to be diminished by time or distance or fear. It's as if the universe itself has been conspiring to remind them of your significance in their life. Synchronicities appear with increasing frequency. Songs that remind them of you play at seemingly random moments. They see things that trigger memories of your time together. The cosmos seems to be delivering a message they can no longer ignore. You are the one they are meant to move toward, not away from. You hold a special place in the unfolding story of their destiny, and fighting against this truth only creates suffering for both of you. Your person has come to understand, with a clarity that cuts through all their previous confusion, that what they feel for you cannot be replaced by anyone or anything. This isn't the kind of connection that can be substituted or duplicated. They've learned this lesson the hard way, through attempts to fill the void you left with other people, other experiences, other distractions. Nothing works. No matter how many new faces enter their life, no matter how many opportunities arise to pursue different paths, their soul keeps circling back to the same truth: you are the one. You have always been the one. There exists an invisible thread connecting your hearts, something that operates beyond the physical realm where distance and time hold power. This is a spiritual connection that transcends geography and calendars, that remains unbroken even when you're apart, even when silence falls between you. They feel this connection as surely as they feel their own heartbeat. It pulses with life, with possibility, with the promise of something beautiful if only they have the courage to honor it. They've realized something profound about your effect on them. When they are in your presence, or even when they simply allow themselves to think about you without the usual defenses raised, they feel truly alive. Not merely existing, not simply going through the motions of daily life, but genuinely, vibrantly alive in a way that makes everything else seem dull by comparison. You awaken parts of them that sleep in your absence. You call forth a version of themselves that is more real, more open, more authentic than the persona they present to the rest of the world. With you, their carefully constructed walls crumble. The armor they wear to protect themselves from hurt becomes too heavy to maintain. In your presence, whether physical or held in their heart, they discover they can be unguarded. They can lower their defenses and simply exist as they truly are, without performance or pretense. This vulnerability used to terrify them, but they're beginning to understand it differently now. You haven't demanded this openness from them. You've simply created a space safe enough that their true self feels permitted to emerge. You have opened doors within them that had been locked for longer than they can remember. You've shown them pathways to happiness they didn't know existed, taught them what genuine joy feels like when it's not being filtered through fear or controlled by conditions. You've given them a glimpse of what emotional fulfillment truly means, what it feels like to be seen and valued for who they actually are rather than who they pretend to be. Before you entered their life, they were drifting. They moved through days and weeks without real direction, uncertain about what love truly meant or if they were even capable of experiencing it in its fullest expression. They had convinced themselves that the shallow connections they'd experienced before were all that existed, that the kind of deep, soul-stirring love depicted in stories and songs was fiction, an ideal that didn't exist in the real world. But then you arrived, and everything shifted. Everything changed in ways both thrilling and terrifying. You became the center of their emotional universe, the gravitational force around which their thoughts and feelings orbit. You became the heartbeat behind their every thought, the rhythm that underscores their daily existence. You transformed from being just another person they knew into the one person who makes life feel purposeful, meaningful, worth the struggles and challenges that come with being human. They've also come to recognize the power you hold over them, though not in any manipulative or controlling sense. This isn't about domination or possession. Rather, it's about how deeply you affect them on an emotional level, how profoundly you've impacted their inner landscape. You have the ability to stir feelings in them that no one else can access. You make them feel vulnerable in ways they never have before, stripping away the protective layers they've spent years building. This vulnerability initially frightened them more than they were willing to admit, even to themselves. It felt like weakness, like an exposure that could lead to devastating pain. But time and reflection have brought them to a different understanding. They now see this vulnerability as evidence of something real, something authentic that deserves to be honored rather than feared. No one else has ever touched their heart in quite this way. No one else has ever made them feel so completely seen, so thoroughly understood, so entirely accepted despite all their flaws and failures. Around you, the walls they've constructed crumble brick by brick, revealing the person they truly are beneath all the defenses and protective mechanisms. Their true self emerges when you're near, the self they hide from the world because showing it feels too risky, too dangerous. But you've taught them something invaluable through your own example. Vulnerability isn't the weakness they always thought it was. Vulnerability is actually the foundation upon which true intimacy is built. Without it, connections remain surface level, never deepening into the kind of profound bond they now realize they've been craving their entire life. They find themselves admiring so many things about you. The way you carry yourself through the world with a combination of calmness and inner strength that seems almost otherworldly at times. The purity of your energy, which feels nurturing and genuine even when you're not actively trying to care for anyone. There's a sweetness in your simplicity, a beauty in the way you exist without pretense or performance. You don't need elaborate presentations or carefully curated images to be remarkable. Your spirit itself is effortlessly beautiful, naturally magnetic, inherently worthy of admiration. Your character moves them deeply. They see your resilience in how you handle life's inevitable challenges. They notice your ability to stay kind even when the world gives you every reason to become bitter or hardened. They observe how you maintain your values and principles even when taking the easier path would be more convenient. To them, you are not just another person moving through life. They see you as something rare and precious, a soul that brings light into every space you enter, someone whose very presence elevates the energy of whatever environment you're in. Recently, significant changes have been occurring in their life, shifts that may not be visible on the surface but are profound in their implications. They've begun the difficult work of withdrawing from people and situations that no longer serve their highest good or align with their true values. They've realized through hard-won wisdom and honest self-reflection, that certain influences in their life have been holding them back from becoming the person they need to be, from pursuing what they truly want. These influences might be friends who encouraged behaviors that moved them away from you rather than toward you. They might be habits that kept them stuck in patterns of avoidance and fear. They might be old fears themselves, outdated beliefs about love and vulnerability that no longer serve them. Whatever form these obstacles have taken, they're actively working to release them, to clear space in their life for something better, something real, something worth fighting for. Their priorities have undergone a fundamental reorganization. What once seemed important now appears trivial compared to the clarity they're developing about what truly matters. They are choosing to isolate themselves during this period, but this isolation isn't born from sadness or depression. Rather, it comes from determination and focused intention. They're stepping back from the noise and chaos of their previous life patterns to create space for transformation. They are choosing clarity over the confusion that has clouded their judgment for too long. They're choosing truth over the convenient distractions that allowed them to avoid facing their real feelings. They're choosing you, even if they haven't said so out loud yet, even if you don't yet see the evidence of this choice manifesting in their actions. Deep in their soul, they understand something crucial. If they want to build something lasting and meaningful with you, they must first let go of the patterns and energies that created distance between you before. They must release the old version of themselves that was too afraid to love you properly, too wounded to receive the love you offered, too immature to appreciate the gift you represented in their life. This period of isolation and withdrawal is their preparation, an emotional and spiritual reset that will allow them to approach you next time with genuine intention and a clear, unburdened heart. Though they may not have expressed any of this openly yet, though you may not see obvious signs of these internal shifts, they are planning their next move in the sacred space of silence. Every step they take now is guided by a singular desire to be closer to you. They're thinking carefully about timing, about approach, about what they need to say and how they can make things right after whatever went wrong before. There's a growing confidence building in their energy, a sense of readiness that comes from genuine emotional maturity rather than false bravado. When they finally come forward, when they gather the courage to show you what's in their heart, it won't be casual or uncertain. The tentative, half-committed energy that may have characterized their previous interactions with you will be replaced by something much more solid and sure. They are coming in with speed and strength, ready to offer you something real and substantial. Their heart is set on you with unwavering focus, and they no longer wish to waste precious time pretending otherwise, playing games, or hiding behind walls of fear and self-protection. They imagine a future with you that feels both exciting and peaceful. They see shared laughter echoing through rooms you'll inhabit together, quiet nights where comfortable silence speaks volumes, mutual understanding that doesn't require constant explanation or justification. In their vision of what could be, you are someone who not only complements them perfectly but also challenges them to grow, to evolve, to become the best version of themselves. You've awakened something within them that had been dormant, perhaps for their entire life until you came along. You've sparked a longing for genuine connection that goes beyond surface-level interaction. You've shown them that emotional depth isn't something to fear but something to treasure, to cultivate, to protect fiercely once found. The thought of losing you, of letting this opportunity slip through their fingers because of fear or pride or stubbornness, weighs on their heart like a stone. The possibility of looking back years from now with regret, wondering what might have been if only they had been braver, haunts their quiet moments. That's why they're finally choosing courage over hesitation, why they're selecting truth over the comfortable lies they've told themselves. In your person's eyes, you represent a rare and beautiful combination of seemingly opposite qualities that somehow coexist perfectly within you. You are both peace and passion, offering them calm when they need it and fire when they need to be awakened. You are both comfort and mystery, familiar enough to feel like home yet endlessly fascinating in ways they're still discovering. You make them feel simultaneously grounded in reality and inspired to reach for something greater. Your love, or even the mere idea of what loving you and being loved by you could mean, has already transformed them in profound ways. They are not the same person they were before you entered their life. You have left marks on their soul that will never fade, impressions that have reshaped their inner landscape permanently. And now, having done the internal work, having faced their fears and begun dismantling their walls, they are finally ready to follow where their deepest intuition leads. And it leads, unmistakably and inevitably, to you. They know with bone-deep certainty that this connection is not random or coincidental. They understand now that your meeting, your connection, the pull between you, all of it is a calling from something greater than both of you. This is destiny making itself known, the universe orchestrating something that serves a purpose beyond what either of you might fully understand yet. And they can no longer ignore this calling, no matter how much fear tries to convince them that safety lies in distance. The time for silence and uncertainty is drawing to a close. What lies ahead is movement, clear intention, and a heart that beats with singular focus, for you, toward you, in hopes of building something beautiful with you. The waiting is almost over. The transformation is nearly complete. And soon, very soon, you will see the evidence of everything they've been feeling, everything they've been working toward in the quiet privacy of their own heart.